So today we're going to be going over some of the best mobile investing apps out there through a tier list. So we're going to be going from the lowest to the highest in the tier, and these are going to be based off of experiences of using these apps and some of the functionalities that these apps have. Now, Cash App is a money transfer app, but it also does allow you to buy and sell into stocks as well as some ETFs. Now, this one's at the bottom of the list because even though it is functionally working great to be able to get started with investing, there are some setbacks with it, such as the information that you can get on the app itself and the amount of data that is available. Granted, you can always look around at other websites, but nonetheless, this is actually still a great app for a lot of people who just want to get started with testing out their investing skills. Now, I'm going to have a link for Cash App in the show notes down below, as well as all the other apps we're going to be talking about here today. Some of them do support the channel financially, but it does get you free content just like this. Now, next up on this list is going to be Momo. Now, Momo is a little bit newer for a lot of investors out there, but the great thing with this app is it does give you a lot of functionalities with data on the app itself. It's really labor intensive when it comes to the amount of information that you have to kind of digest through this. So it's not going to be the best for beginners, but it's still a great app for a lot of people who want to get into investing and learning about like the candlesticks investing. Now, the other really cool thing with Momo is you're going to actually be able to invest in other types of markets such as Hong Kong. So if you are somebody who maybe wants to dabble a little bit more beyond just the US market, this app will allow you to do just that. Now, next up on this list is going to be Public Invest, which you might have started hearing about from a lot of other financial YouTubers. Now, this is a great, simple app. The best benefit for this app is the fact that there's a lot of social aspects to it. You can actually get to chat with other investors, have kind of like a social media platform where it's all about investing. And the other really cool feature that they have going on now is they are bringing on CEOs from really great companies, so you can actually learn more about these different companies that you can be investing in. Now, as far as how the platform functions overall, it is a good system. There are some setbacks in comparison to some of the other apps we're going to be talking about here today, but nonetheless, it is still a great investing app to get started with. Now, the next one on this list is going to be with Robinhood. I know some people are not big fans of Robinhood, especially with some of the issues that they've had going on in the past, but if you're just a very simple investor who just wants to get started with investing and learn about the platform, Robinhood is still a great platform overall to get invested with. Now, again, they do have some issues when it comes to things in the past, but companies can change and companies can get better. So as long as things improve on the back end of Robinhood, the front end of Robinhood is by far still one of the best platforms out there for a lot of beginner investors. Is it the best one to go long term? Probably not. That's why we have a few other ones here on this list. So next up on this list is going to be with Webull. Now, Webull is also another platform that a lot of people here on YouTube talk about, and it's great. It has a lot of data points for a lot of, intermediate to maybe even advanced investors, so they can get all the data points that they need to make decisions that they want to move on or sell from a stock. Now, again, it could be a little cumbersome for some beginner investors, but honestly, even for a beginner investor, this still can be a great app to get started with. So next up on this list is going to be with SoFi Invest. Now, SoFi Invest is another great app for a lot of beginner investors, somebody who just needs to really start understanding how to invest for the long term and really get their foot into the door. Now, one of the great features that SoFi does have is the ability to do fractional shares. Some of the other apps we talked about as well do fractional shares. It's a great way to get started with a low dollar amount. Now, they have a lot of other great features on the app, such as their social media aspect, very similar to Public, as well as some other great features that can get you started with investing. Now, next up is going to be with M1 Finance. Now, this is going to be an app that allows you to do great things for long-term dividend investors, such as myself and many others out there. This is an app that allows you to really just invest for the long term without really thinking too much about the day-to-day operations of investing. So the great thing is, once you kind of set everything up with this app, you can kind of just set it and forget it. They also do fractional shares as well, like we mentioned earlier with SoFi. And the greatest thing about M1 Finance is it does dynamic investing for you. So depending on how the market is doing and you have your individual stocks, this app will actually go ahead and make sure that whatever's doing the poorest in your portfolio is actually going to get some of the most in your deposits to actually dollar cost average down and actually potentially make you even more money in the long term. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have a link to all of these that I mentioned here today in the show notes down below. It does help support out the channel using some of those links, as well as giving you some free sign-up bonuses for going through those links down below. Now, what I want you to do next is actually learn about some of these apps in depth one by one. So check out this video playlist right over here to keep on learning. My name is Dennis, and I'll see you in that next video.